Okay, so we are saying that as a result of the disconnect in the lack of teaching methods, students are becoming disenchanted as illustrated in this graphic here. What exactly does a teaching method encompass? Well, according to Dunn E. Dunn, who created an inventory, it encompasses students' groupings, the learning environment, evaluation techniques, teaching characteristics, educational philosophy, room design, teaching methods, instructional planning. So, what is the issue psychologically? Well, theorists have said that using the behavioral model, otherwise known as classical conditioning, leads to disengagement in the classroom. Brophy categorizes a behavioral model as the use of techniques that bring students' behavior under stimulus control. Education is teacher-centered, which means the classroom remains orderly while the teacher retains full control. Students do not actively participate in their learning. The behavioral approaches to classroom management have been viewed as consistent with the traditional or transmission approach to instruction. Students are not allowed to express themselves and direct their own learning. So, why is this behaviorist approach affecting learning for all? According to Howard Gardner in his book Frames of Mind, central to the notion of an intelligence is the existence of one or more basic information processing operations or mechanisms which can deal with specific kinds of input. And from a psychological perspective, this is not being done because of the teaching method. He also proposed, in terms of the psychology of learning, that students have different ways in which they must be appealed to: the linguistic, the logical, spatial, bodily, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalist. So we have here an illustration of conceptualizing the problem according as illustrated by psychologist Howard Gardner. You have teachers rooted in the behaviorist approach, teacher-centered approach that are communicating information. Because the students are not being engaged, it leads to confusion and a breakdown of communication and psychological barriers. Typical examples of the psychology of teachers who employ the traditional method. I tell them read the chapter, then answer the questions. They find that type of assessment. They're asking me to make online classes more interactive, exciting. I say I pay to deliver content. This was a particular problem in terms of during the pandemic, where it was noticed amongst all of the departments where teachers still reverted in the online domains to just posting work using the traditional approach instead of engaging with the students. Why does this lack of diversity in teaching methods matters? According to the UNDP, the learner must be able to publicly demand and support the development of policies promoting free, equitable, and quality education for all. Requires safe, accessible, and inclusive educational facilities. The learner must be able to raise awareness of the importance of quality education for all. A humanistic and holistic approach to education is delivered. And the literature, according to Raju et al., traditional teaching methods have been implemented for many years in schools, and they do not provide graduate students with the best opportunities for gaining sufficient knowledge, skills, and abilities that are fundamental to their future occupations. Simek says that The academic achievement of students is directly proportional to the harmony between learning styles and learning activities. Solomon and Fielder argue it is important to know the teaching methods of teachers in order to increase the permanent knowledge acquisition of the students and to provide a more interactive teaching environment. Students may have difficulty in adapting consequently to the learning process, become disenchanted, and become unable to exhibit their academic proficiency.